We have a special guest.
Yes,
Lacey,
aka Hype Priestess.
I'm so happy today.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we're going to be talking about how we deal with our anger.
Yeah.
We got this question through Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was wondering, how do we deal with that? And it makes a lot of sense. Today is a full moon.
Yes.
Full moon in Taurus.
Oh my
Lots
God.
Lots of energy.
So everybody's got all these emotions bubbling up. So we thought this topic needs to be spoken on today.
Yeah.
So I'll start with mine. Me, when I'm angry, I'm that person that is like, I gotta flush it out now.
Yeah.
I gotta talk about it. That's my personality.
She is.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, no, I can't put this off. Let's talk about this right now. Because I hate, for me, it's hard for me to have something lingering on.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so if I can't talk to the person, because a lot of people who I've dealt with in the past have been the opposite, where they need a moment, they need to walk away, they're not ready. If I can't talk to them, I will find somebody else to talk to, whether it's a friend, whether it's talking into the voice memos on my iPhone.
Yeah, that's smart.
Good.
That's
Like
smart.
screaming.
Yes.
I love that.
He's like, I'm gonna try that.
Utilize that technology.
Yes, and then deleting it when it's done.
Good.
Or
To not
journaling.
save that energy.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's how I deal with it, because I need to express it out. Once it's out of me, I feel a little bit better, rather than holding it all in. And then I might try to switch off to something like saging and drinking water, or going on a walk outside. That's how I deal with my anger.
Awesome.
Yeah. What about you, Lacey? How do you deal and process
Lord.
your anger?
That's actually something that I've been dealing with recently. That's been coming up for me. When I was little, the only emotions I was really allowed to show in my household were happiness and anger. My parents couldn't deal with me being sad.
Okay.
So if Lacey was sad and crying, it was like, give her whatever she wants. Because I was my mom's youngest and my dad's only child.
Okay.
So I was very spoiled. Like, whatever Lacey wants, give it to her. If I was mad, I think it was easier for them to just
Listen to
put me away and be like, well, she'll figure it out. Like, she'll get over it.
Okay.
She'll get over it. And so I don't think from a young age I ever learned how to deal with being angry.
Okay.
I don't think I ever knew what I was angry about. Both my parents were alcoholics. My dad, much worse than my mom.
Okay.
And not physically abusive, but verbally, emotionally abusive. And that followed me into adulthood, and I don't think I figured it out until I was much older, and I don't even think I ever dealt with it. So now I'm like, starting a spiritual business, and I'm aware of my anger, and I'm like, what do I do with this?
Okay.
How do I start dealing with this? And I think for me, it's a lot of like what I do with my practice, self-healing, Reiki, energy healing, tarot card reading, like where is my anger coming from? How do I channel it into something else? I've learned some techniques along the way of like putting your energy into a crystal or putting your energy into a candle and like letting that burn and like transmuting it. So I've tried that, but I think I feel sometimes like I get over things. I'm like, okay, I'm over it. That anger, that energy is gone, and something will happen and it'll come back.
Yeah.
So I feel like I haven't fully gotten to the core of my anger, and I guess this is like the first time I've really talked about it, that like I'm an angry person.
Yeah.
Like I am.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever really said that out loud. So I think I'm just beginning like my journey of understanding like what is anger and where does it come from and how do I release it, but also that anger is a valid emotion.
It is. That's what I was going to say.
It's valid.
It's so valid. And I think for me, my anger stemmed from just wanting to be heard. And I felt that the only way to be heard by my parents or by friends was to like express myself so passionately that they get it. Like I had to make myself, let's put a stamp, like this is important to me. And you kind of rage until someone hears you. And then we kind of adopt that in all of our expressions. So then when we're triggered and we feel like we're not seen or our feelings are not validated, then the anger rises. It's like, you're not hearing me. Yep. So I am such a communicator and I love being there for others. I really take that seriously. Yeah. So I think when people don't show that to me, they don't see me or they don't hear me, then I feel like invalidated and I just feel like cast to the side. So I know my anger stems from like my own like sense of abandonment issues and like putting myself out there, being so sensitive as a child, being so vulnerable, and then being met with, okay, like, you know, just get yourself together, stop crying, and then, you know, that sensitivity turns into something else with an uglier head, you know? And once I forgave myself and allowed myself to feel anger, because like you said, it's a valid emotion, my anger spells got shorter. Once I wasn't ashamed of feeling like that, because I think I dated partners that made me feel like, you know, ashamed of taking it there. But now I understand it for the passionate message that it's trying to deliver to me, and I can scale it back faster by walking away, by going to the gym. Like the gym is like huge for me. If I go there or if I go outside and work out, I'm just grounding the energy and I feel 1,000 times better by lighting some incense. But for me, I literally have to kind of get out of the house. No matter what, just walk somewhere, get out, get away. Because I feel confined and restricted when I'm in my anger pattern. And I don't like that feeling, that sensation of the walls closing in on me and me not being heard or understood and we're going back and forth. I just need to get out, you know, to take a breath and then revisit. So that's how I deal with my anger, the major ways, but that's what I've kind of learned through it too.
I think it's really interesting that you bring up like going to the gym and the physical activity, because I think of the chakra system, I think of anger and like where you kind of feel anger, normally like towards the bottom, stomach and down. And then what colors do you associate with anger? Red, which I think it's hilarious that I chose to wear red glasses and a red necklace today. I was feeling the red. Somehow I knew. But you think of that connection, the red color and your root, what really grounds you, physical activity, getting physical. So it's really interesting that you take that physical aspect and go, yo, I'm going to channel this into something healthy for me. Because as women, where do we hold and store all of our negative energy? In our womb. And it builds. And like for me, physically, I can see that anger manifesting physically.
Me too.
It's crazy. So I love that you speak to like the physical activity, and I think that's a way to kind of disconnect from that anger energy, or even just connect to it and push it into something positive.
Work with it, because it makes me want to push, you know, through life that much more, and just like take on that next activity without giving up. It gives me a sense of like the good aggression, and sometimes we need that, because I've often seen like people think if they're quiet or that they don't get really riled up, they have no anger problems. And it couldn't be further from the truth, you know? You could be inwardly imploding on yourself. I was watching anger management the other day and I learned this. You have to be able to express it and be in a circumstance where you feel safe to do so. But yeah, just because you're quiet and you're sitting on it doesn't mean you're processing it. You want to still feel it and honor that emotion.
Yeah. I used to be pretty quiet back in the day, and I now also realize in talking through this with you guys that a lot of mine too had to do with abandonment issues of the need to fix it right now, because I was scared if we didn't talk about it and fix it right now, I'm gonna lose you. Whoever it was. So now I've gotten better at realizing, but now it's kind of flipped where it's like we're gonna talk about it right now, because if you're leaving, then just go now. Like it kind of goes both ways. It stems from the same root. But I did used to be quiet and silent and keep it in out of that fear of losing people. Not always realizing that some people just needed to go. And then also, I did notice that it did manifest in physical ways, like you were saying, in my gut, in my womb, in other health issues, back problems, sabotage problems, throat problems, coughing, all kinds of things.
Because it was like the energy was trying to come out
somewhere.
Solve me up.
So now it's like, now I had to become more expressive, even if it's to myself, yelling at myself to get it out as if the person was there, whatever it might be. So,
I remember you used to tell me the little car sessions you would have.
Oh my gosh, I still like had to sage my car good, because I would get in my car and I would scream in my car, in my bubble.
So like a compartment.
I would scream so loud.
But that's your safe space. You allowed yourself to move it through you, you know? So maybe a car is your safe space, a closet, you know, go into the ocean, but just somewhere where you don't feel like judged. And that's why for the millionth time, if you watched this before, I'm talking about vlogging, because vlogging created that safe territory for me to not feel judged by other people saying, why are you angry about that? It's not even a big deal. Like, okay, to you, but to me it matters, and I want to honor my feelings.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But and then also, somebody did recommend roller coasters.
Yes, we were talking about that the other day.
No. No. I'm so scared of roller coasters.
But this is why you can scream your head off.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to look at you crazy.
Yeah. And then you almost feel like you just want to laugh too, because you're in this fun, playful situation where you're screaming, you're mad, but then it's like funny.
That blows my mind. That's so funny to me, because I don't know if you guys know, but a lot of like my followers know I'm obsessed with Disneyland, and like we live right next to it. I literally live a mile away, and like that was how I used to deal with things. Instead of getting angry, I would go to Disneyland. Instead of dealing with my shit, I would go to Disneyland. Okay. And like, I get what you're saying. I'm like, yes. Yeah. I'm like, I can imagine myself on the rides and like, you know, going to Disney and singing and dancing and meeting the characters, putting my energy into that, which seems positive, but really I wasn't dealing with my shit. And I just think of myself like on the rides, like screaming, and I'm like, that's the only time I ever really yell like that, you know? Like, I might yell if I'm in an argument with somebody, but normally, like, I don't, like how you go to your safe space in your car, I don't have that. I don't do that, and I just realized that right now. And like, it's good. It's good. It's
so fun. You know, you were just able to
putting it out there. Yeah, I like that. Thanks. Thanks for the awareness.
I can't remember who told me that, but it's always stuck with me.
So are we going to Six Flags or what?
I know, right?
No, I'm scared of heights.
Well, how do you guys deal with your anger? I mean, definitely share with us below if you have any tips for us to adopt, or if you want to just share a story with us, or if you want to schedule a reading as well with any of us. Definitely we'll leave all the contact for her below, so you can go ahead and make that happen. And this is just, it's good to talk about anger. I don't think we do it enough. We do it in this judgmental way, but it's a healthy emotion. So it's okay. If no one else has told you, I'm telling you it's okay.
It's okay.
It is okay.
Don't get violent with it. That's different levels. All right, guys.
Bye.
Bye.